Your house is making $180,000 a year. Why you have to work? You just retire early and chill out. What is up YouTube? What is up Canada? Thanks for joining in. As you know, the purpose of this channel is to educate my audience about the Canadian real estate market in general, with particular focus on Toronto and GTA, as well as some of the macroeconomic factors that has an impact on the real estate market. Today I'm going to cover three different points. Number one is the recent statistics from TREB with regards to May activity in real estate market in GTA Toronto area. Plus we're going to touch upon the statistics from Statistica about the economic growth in Q1 and how your house is making $180,000 a year. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So if you take a look at this chart, it shows you the year-over-year Canadian benchmark house price growth, between 2020 and 2021. It shows $180,000 growth, right? So if your house is making $180,000 on average, why you have to work? You just retire early, you chill out, you just pump your money into real estate. That is a cash cow for you, right? And that's the whole reason why everybody's so crazy about the real estate. Even though the market is so expensive, you can see the houses are being sold 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 over asking, and yet people are still rushing towards it. Why? It's the perception, it's in their head that the market will continue to go up, and because of that, everybody's just putting their eggs into the basket and rushing towards it, which of course is not a good sign from economic activity and economic growth perspective, because when one sector is just keep growing and the other sectors are struggling, then it's an imbalance market, and at some point it has to stabilize, right? Now Statistica Canada published some statistics last week with regards to economic growth. So in Q1, the economic activity, so the GDP growth in Canada in Q1, it shows 54% of the GDP growth is residential real estate investment. So, which means, guys, the economic recovery in Canada is heavily relying on real estate market. It's not a healthy sign because there is nothing else. If you take out the residential real estate market investment, there's nothing else in the economy that is driving the growth moving forward. So the people who are wishing to have a market crash, they should be very careful in what they're wishing for, is because if it happens, then the whole economy will suffer. The whole economy will be collapsed because there is nothing else lifting up the economic activity alongside with real estate investment, right? So as I said, the interest rate has to go up from here onwards, but when? I think that's the question, because it will only go up if the economic recovery is good enough, right? If we see the industrial growth happening, if we see the restaurants are open, if we see the retail sector is bouncing back, only then we can see, okay, the economic recovery is less relying on residential market but other sectors, so let's just increase the interest rate so to see how things are moving. Until then, I think it's less likely the interest rate will go up, because it will have more damage than any good in the overall economic recovery perspective. We received the TREB statistics for the month of May, and according to that, I'm going to share my screen and you can look at it. The residential transaction, compared to last year, this time, of course, it's a huge growth, 160%, but last year, this time, we were in panic, everything was locked down, nothing was happening, so this 160% is out of the whack, right? But the month-over-month comparison gives you more meaningful feedback, right? So it shows 9% growth in terms of month-over-month real estate residential transactions. So when you see the headlines in the news media that the market is slowing down, market is losing its steam, it's the number of transactions, right? Maybe it is also equivalent to the number of biddings that we used to see in the offer presentation days. But look at it, the average selling price, month-over-month comparison, still 1.1% plus, right? So the average price is still climbing up versus the number of transactions, which is going down 9% compared to April. Okay, so nobody's selling house less than the asking price, guys. So Don't be in illusion that when the people say in the news media, oh, market is closing, good time to buy, go back and buy, the market's still, in terms of pricing, very healthy and competitive. From listing perspective, 103% growth from last year this time, right? And month over month also showing SLNR 14% growth compared to April. Compared to May. Now, if you look at the days on the market, again, this time around, last year, the houses were taking more time to be sold. This time, it's like in a matter of like a week or so. The HPI index is a very good parameter to tell you where the trend is going. Again, the upward trend, the trajectory compared to the last previous years. Now look at the condo market, right? So the condo market is showing, in terms of transaction, 80% growth, compared to last year, right? Even though we are still in the lockdown, but people are still rushing towards condo. So that shows there's a huge demand out there for condo market, right? From pricing perspective, the price is still 1.4% down compared to last year this time. But looking at the growth, I think it's going to drive up the pricing in coming months. Especially when we see the provinces opening it up. There will be, borders opening up. Perhaps the immigration will also open sometime soon. So when the external traffic comes from other countries, then of course it will drive the price pressure on the condo market. If you look at the listing, again, 42% year-over-year growth from Q1 last year, and SLNR is also 17% growth compared to Q1 last year. Now, if we look at the rental statistics, so again, a huge growth in terms of demand, 81% transaction growth compared to last year. And again, the rents are still low, compared to last year, 16.8% down from last year. But again, as I said, the economic, once the lockdown is over, the borders are open, people coming in from different countries, visiting Toronto, this will drive up the rental market as well. So that's it from me for this week. I would like to understand from your perspective, what do you see in your neighborhood? What do you see in terms of your real estate market, and what do you think what's going to happen in the coming months in the summer market? Let me know your thoughts and viewpoints. Put your comments and questions in the comments section below, and I will be happy to answer your questions if you may have any. I will see you in my next video. Take care.